2023 has been a really interesting year in terms of business for me. I started my watch shop and then it got shut down on eBay. I moved it over to its own site and now I'm trying to build it up again. I started this YouTube channel. I started trading on the stock market. I sold all my stocks I had in long-term investment. I had a lot of things pop up that I didn't think I was going to do this year, and a lot of things that I did plan didn't go to plan. What I'm saying here is, there's been many times throughout the past year where I felt like giving up, where things didn't go as I expected them to, and where I had big setbacks where I thought, is this journey even worth it? But I want to talk to you guys about what I've learned in this year, because I think it's been one of the biggest years for my mindset, and I've seen some of the biggest changes that I ever have. And I want to share with you guys some of the knowledge that I've learned in the past couple of years to hopefully save you the time. I want to talk to you about why most people never manage to fulfill their dreams. So from a young age, we all have big dreams. Many people want really big things as children, very young children. Most people see themselves as football players, movie stars, and rich people who have Lamborghinis. Now, over time, we see this sort of erode from our mindset as reality starts to kick in. We see people then aspire to jobs, more normal ones. We see people talking about having a more standard car, and before you know it, you're in the same life as everybody else. The dream that seemed so achievable has disappeared. But why is that? Why is it something that most people can never obtain? And how do we get there? We need to acknowledge what the problem is and what the big hurdle is stopping us from getting there. And in my opinion, it is the intimidation of the goal. It looks really hard to get somewhere big, because it is. But it's never as hard as you can imagine. As I've always said when I film videos like this, there's one thing harder than trying to achieve your dreams, and that's living a life knowing that you didn't make any effort at all. It goes back to the old saying, shoot for the moon and you might hit the stars. I'm not saying that you will achieve your dreams, but why not try and fulfill some of those goals that you had either as a child or earlier in life or even right now? Most people sit there with a business idea that they could actually capitalize upon, but they never do it. And why is the reason for this? Well, it's risky, it takes too much time, it's too much effort. There's no such thing as any of these things. Of course, risk is real, and you could argue things take too much time. But things become easier over time. When I started out selling watches, I was investing hours upon hours every single day. By the point that I was making about $10,000 a month in revenue, I was probably investing maybe 2-3 on a good day hours into the business, and that was making me £1,000 in revenue sometimes a day. Overall, about £10,000 a month was my best month, I believe. This is a funny thing about money in life. The closer you get to your dreams and beyond them, the easier things actually become. You start out, whether it's trying to build a business, trying to build an empire, trying to become a football player, a boxer, an athlete, a racing driver, and it seems really hard to begin with, because it is. You've got to do so much stuff to build that nice foundation. But once you get the ball rolling, once you're halfway there, you've already got all of the processes locked in. All you need to do is make them more efficient, get better at what you're doing, and hopefully automate those processes as much as possible as time goes on. That will allow you to maximize your time and keep growing and keep focusing on your goals. But this is a thing that confuses most people. Most people sit there at that early stage, they see, well, the next year is going to have lots of hurdles in it, it's going to take me months and months of practicing to even make any money, to even get to that goal, and then they think, well, that's going to be the life if I choose this path. Of course, some jobs, some careers are going to be harder than others, and some jobs do require 24/7, 365 hard work. But most don't. If we talk about business, because that's of course what this channel is mainly based around, like I said, some of my businesses that have made the most money have been the easiest to run, but they got linear. They were easier over time because I had the processes locked in and I automated as much of the workload as possible. Even when we look at this YouTube channel that I'm filming on right now, I started out about 3 or 4 months ago and my videos got maybe 1-2 views an episode. Now we're getting to the point where I can easily say most of the videos that I published in the last 10 days at least have seen at least 5 views per episode. I think there's only one that's seen below 5. Obviously that's not a huge amount, there's people who get millions of views in a day here on YouTube, but what it is a massive increase in what I've achieved, and this will continue. And it will get easier, because I know this for a fact. Talking about YouTube, I've had channels on the platform that have had over 10,000 subscribers, and I can tell you that on those channels, the minute that you upload a video, it's going to get views, because people have their notifications turned on. That's going to get me more views than what I even have in the early days of filming on this channel at all. Now, of course, it's just one analogy, but you get what I'm saying. It's very obvious that things do become more realistic the closer you get to them. The more you can see yourself in that position, the more likely it is to happen. Another effect and another analogy that I like to use is the fire effect. I also think about success as building a fire in the woods. Now, you've got to hear me out here because this makes a lot of sense, but it might sound a bit crazy in the beginning. Building a fire in the woods when you start off is quite hard, and it's very intense. You have to put in a lot of work for not a lot back. You might have to rub down 2 sticks, get them to the bare wood, and then put them on top of a pile in a fire pit. They may go out, it may not work. But before long, you burn those sticks, you put bigger sticks on, to the point where you can put logs on, to the point where you can put coal on. And then the fire's burning at hundreds of degrees, and it's bigger than you could have ever imagined. This is just how success works. Similar to the snowball effect, this is the analogy that I like to use. It really does pick up over time. So when we think about obtaining our goals, we must acknowledge that it's not really that hard. Again, the alternative is never even trying. If we are not intimidated by our goals, if we take our goals completely seriously, there's no reason why we can't at least get somewhere on the road. A lot of people do one of 2 things. They're either far too intimidated by their goals to even try, because it is so far out of where they see themselves, what's the point in even trying? If I said to you that I want to make £10,000 trading in the next year or 2, I would personally say for me, yeah, that's very easily doable. I think I can obtain that if I so want to as time progresses, maybe even more than that. And subsequently, I'm either going to get there or I'm going to learn a lot in the process. Whereas if I'm the next person and I say, well, I'd like to give this trading business a go, I'd like to make 10k, but it's probably not going to happen. It doesn't happen to people like me, and even if it could, there's just too much to risk. Of course I'm not going to get there. It just makes common sense. It is common sense. So that goes back to the first ambition, or the first lack of ambition. We see the goal there, but we just think that it's impossible. And unfortunately, this is so commonplace, and it really does kind of break my heart. Because when we think about it, there's people out there who know lots of stuff. There's people out there with a proven track record who can give you an almost copy and paste business idea. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those people in some regards. Just a couple of weeks ago before the summer break, I was trying to teach some of my friends at university about my eBay business, where essentially you can buy products for fairly cheap and resell them on eBay. I was showing them on my phone in front of their eyes the fact that I was making hundreds of pounds every single day. And obviously I'm a real person to them. They're somebody who I see, and I'm somebody who they see. They can see my phone in front of their hands. I'm somebody who's showing them basically a copy and paste with a walkthrough guide, because of course I want to see them succeed. But most of these people thought, well, yeah, that's cool, and then they moved on. Some of them took the ambition, some of them understood the importance of it, but no one really took it kind of as seriously as I did. I'm not saying this to say, oh, I'm great or anything like that. The point that I'm making is, if you see someone who knows stuff, if you see someone who proves that it's possible, don't think that there's no reason why you cannot be in the same position or better. There's people on YouTube, there's people on TikTok, Instagram, who want to see you do well. Yes, they may have a vested interest in wanting to sell you a course and get good results and reviews, but there's people who want to see you do well. So I think one of the biggest and best things that a lot of people can do is sit there and realise that they need to learn a lot of stuff when it comes to self-development. And I think another huge thing that's holding people back in terms of achieving their goals is the absolute opposite. And in this case, I'm not talking about being intimidated by them, I'm talking about the opposite, not being intimidated by them. Now, in stark contradiction to what I just said, there's some people who are not intimidated by their goals. And this can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. That's why I wanted to give both sides of the argument. To some people, those who are strong of will, it could be a good thing to not be intimidated by your goals. But to others, it may be important to be intimidated by your goals. Because otherwise, how are you going to achieve them? If I said that you were in a life or death situation, you're going to fight to live. Because you're intimidated. You don't want to die. So if I said to you guys, you have an opportunity that you must seize in the next year, 5 years, 10 years, why are you not intimidated by that? Like, I think one of the biggest things for people who don't take their goals seriously is to write down what happens if they don't get there. This can be quite scary, but this is a good thing because it makes you really put your head down and get into it, because you understand, hey, if I don't focus on this, if I don't take this seriously, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and that is not going to be good for me. So sometimes it's important to acknowledge how big your goals are and how important it is to actually tackle them fully. And I think that's one of the big things that people can do to get themselves on the road to success. Obviously, I am not an expert in this field, I just want to provide my opinion. And I have to say, with what I'm learning and what I've learned in the past couple of years, achieving your goals is never that hard. It just takes people often that initial push and also understanding that you're not going to get there first time. If you want to hit an amazing goal in football, you're not going to hit that first time likely. If you want to make a business that is really successful first time, probably not going to happen. Anything that you want to do is probably going to take determination and hard work. That's not a bad thing, but that's what separates the winners from the losers. If you see yourself in that top echelon in your field, you can get there. But you must understand, this is going to include failures, it's going to include hard times, and it's going to include things that you didn't expect. The road is going to change, but actually having that initial map isn't going to be a bad thing. Sometimes all you need to focus on is the end goal, and not what is on the path. And sometimes you need to focus on the path and not what's in the end goal. Sometimes it's important to look at the bigger picture, but sometimes it's important to look at where you really are now. When me and my friends are out, we talk about business and we say, what is the thing that you want to achieve in the next 5 years? And like I've disclosed on this YouTube channel, one of my main goals before 25 is to aim to hit 100k. That's £100,000. I'm not saying that I'm going to do it, but it's something that I really want to achieve. And then they say, well, why not more? Why not 200k? Why not 300k? I always think of it as the horse effect, where you kind of put your blinkers on and look straight forwards. If I look everywhere, if I overcomplicate things for myself, I'm probably going to get too confused and then lose sight of the initial aim in the first place. And this is a big thing that stops people as well. Unfortunately, the internet has been both a great thing and a terrible thing for people aspiring to their dreams. Because on the one hand, there's more stuff that you can learn out there than ever before. But on the other hand, you're looking at people who are already there. You're looking at people who tell stories about getting there in 6 weeks, 6 months. And you think, I'm on the road for 6 years? 6 decades? Do I want a lifetime of this when somebody can achieve it in a couple of weeks and I can't? That's what drives a lot of people to stop. And I just sit there when I hear this and I think, well, what is the alternative? Looking at that is one of the big things that you must do. The amount of effort required to get to your goals goes down every single step you take, every single checkpoint, if you will, that you pass. I say it all the time, most people here have played video games at some point. It goes back to the whole game. You can play every single level, you can hit every single checkpoint, and every single checkpoint there's something that you've learned, there's something that you've acquired that sometimes money can't buy, or sometimes it is just money itself, and that will help you to get to the next level faster because you know more stuff, you know how to do more stuff, you understand more stuff, the process becomes easier. When you look at things on the first day, it is always really intimidating. It does always seem extremely hard, and half the times you don't even achieve anything for the first few weeks, months, or even years. That's one of the hard things about life. But I want to show this on this YouTube channel through talking about my experiences in business and sharing my experiences with you guys through your guys' comments and how we talk about those, and also through exploring how some of my businesses have gone and also looking at how this YouTube channel is going. I know some of you guys do genuinely enjoy watching the videos, and I must thank you so much for that. But imagine if I never even started this channel. I wouldn't have over 100 subscribers now. Obviously it's not an amazing goal to hit, but I'm on the road. And if I hadn't started, if I hadn't have carried on, I would have never got there. There's been times on this channel where I've had videos that have been hitting 0 views, 1 view, 2 view, and I thought, no one's watching this. Nobody cares. And I thought it's time to give up. There's been times running certain shops of mine where I've thought, no one's buying this stuff, no one's even viewing it. What's the point in even listing it up there? But when I carried on, I saw things that I never thought I would. I saw goals, achievements, milestones that I didn't think I could hit, and that I didn't think were even possible for me. This is just one example of how the snowball effect takes place, of how the fire builds up as time progresses. If you have the belief, if you have the determination, and you see the importance and the significance of hitting your goals, you will get there, or you'll get somewhere close. You just have to think, do you want to sit there at the end of the journey saying, hey, I've done everything that I can and I'm happy with that? Or do you want to sit there saying, well, I missed a load of opportunities? Even in some of the businesses where I've had no results, where I've failed, where I've actually lost quite a lot of money, I've got stories that I can tell you on this YouTube channel that I will be telling you in the future. I've got stories to tell to my friends, my family, my future friends that I will meet, and my future loved ones. All of this stuff is a learning experience, and it will benefit somebody in some way. That's one of the main purposes why I wanted to create this channel as well. I want to show you guys stuff that you will probably experience at some point. I understand that this is just part of what happens to us all. But when we stay on the journey, when we keep going to our goals, we get there. So thank you for watching this video. It has been quite a long one, but I do want to transition to making more long form content, as I want to provide you guys with extensive and detailed videos talking about things that interest me. I've gone for more of a kind of laid back pace here, where I just talk, a few gaps in it, less formal. I think this is more like having a conversation, and I personally like that style more. Also, I've moved the camera and the lights. I have a light over here now and a light over here, because I noticed in a few of the other videos when I had a light directly in front of me and a light on this side, I didn't really have much light down this side, so hopefully it's changed it up now. I think this light does need some adjustment and the camera angle may need altering slightly, but yes, I hope this video was at least useful, entertaining, or fun to some of you. If it was, please like and subscribe, and I do hope to see you in our next one. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.